Nyní v té developerské části začne část anglicky mluvící přednášet. Nedovoluji si možná vyslovit ani jeho jméno. Fellyph?
Fellyph, yes, Fellyph.
Fellyph, OK.
Yeah. Right.
Takže tady Fellyph, já jsem se tady v rychlosti ptal Felipa, co dělá. Pochopil jsem, že je frontend vývojář, pracuje v Deloitte, byl chvilku v Irsku, pak byl v Brazílii a teď nějakým způsobem pracuje právě na Gutenbergu, kde má nějaký svůj plugin, který s tím Gutenbergem propojuje a připravil si právě přednášku o tom, jak se s tím Gutenbergem dá pomalu jakoby dobře a chytře pracovat. Celá přednáška bude v angličtině, kdyby náhodou vás ty dveře rušily, tak je tam klidně někdo boukněte, zavřete, ale kdyby to šlo, tak bychom to nechali luftovat. Víc už tomu říkat nebudu a dám slovo Felipi. So, enjoy the presentation.
Thank you. All right. Dobrý den. That's right. Dobrý den. Yeah. Ahoy, everybody. I will try some. No, I won't. So, I think the guy presents me. I didn't understand, but I hope that. So my name is Fellyph Cintra. I am a front-end engineer at Deloitte in Ireland. I'm a Brazilian, so I moved to Ireland 3 years ago. And the spelling for my name is really weird, but you can say like Felipe or Fellyph. I will answer the same way. If you want to find me on any social media, GitHub, just type Fellyph, you're gonna find me. Perfect. And now I will tell just a small history behind me, like before we started. When I started to work with WordPress was 2008. I create my blog just to document the things that I was studying. And after that, I started like play with the theme, like check, like it's the same, I think it's the same path that everybody did, like install WordPress, try to play with the theme, create new stuff and see what's happened. So, and since that time, like now 11 years ago, I moved for different technology, but I keep working with WordPress. If I'm not working during my workday, I do some trainings as well in Portuguese. And now I have some course in online course for like Brazilians. And so I still work with WordPress, not on my normal day, but after work, I keep working with that. So also, but my histories are kind of like I started on another side. In 2010, I went to my first WordCamp. Was a WordCamp São Paulo. So I'm not from São Paulo originally. I moved to São Paulo. I just decided, okay, I'll go to that event, be a volunteer, and make friends because I don't know anybody here. And I did that. And 2 years later, I became an organizer. So the whole atmosphere just makes so exciting. And I just keep going like every year, went there because it is nice. WordCamp is really nice because we have developers, we have like journalists, we have video makers. It's so general. It's so nice. We exchange that experience. I really tell you, like, enjoy that time because it's not, if the person next to you is not a developer, but just talk with that, get what they doing and change ideas. That's really important. All right. And in 2016, I moved to Ireland. First, I was just like traveling. I went to a few WordCamps. I went to WordCamp Vienna, was a WordCamp Europe. I went to be a volunteer there. And my first talk in English was really weird. I was supposed to be a volunteer in Belfast, and one guy was sick, and the guy is supposed to talk about SEO. And I just said, okay, I can try it. Like I never have done a presentation in English, but I can try it. And during that presentation, my first presentation in English, there was someone there on the audience that he saw me and said, okay, I want to hire that guy. Even if he doesn't speak English so well, I want to hire him. And they hired me. And I started working at agency in Dublin. My first year in Dublin, I was working with WordPress after I moved to Deloitte, so where I am now. And now I'm working with Umbraco. What the heck? Like Umbraco, it's a CMS in C#. So the good part of that, many things that I learned in with WordPress, I can use today with Umbraco. The workflow is the same. Oh, the old CMS are the same. Like all the abstractive things are the same. If you get the idea, we will work like Perfect. So, and for today, today we're gonna talk about, basically, I will show some examples from a theme that wasn't used Gutenberg before, and after we moved that functionality to a plugin, and we will have like basic blogs with Gutenberg. But first we need to learn, not learn, but see the new JavaScript workflow, the new stack, the new libraries that we have, the things about like blogs, components, like what we have inside Gutenberg, tooling, and the real life, how we can apply in our normal day those things. So Gutenberg is here. Last year, like, wasn't like, oh, they didn't appear like that thing was in the world, like around the community, like since 2017, like many, like it was available as a plugin, but the last year they released, oh, that's the core for the WordPress, and we're gonna use Gutenberg. And now what we'll do, I just put some drum in here, like some flames. That was the stack before. That's my stack. Oh, it's not like a general stack, but my stack is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP. So 2008, I started with that until 2015, we were work like that. And after came Gutenberg with the, oh my God, oh, so much things like Webpack, Babel, React, SAS, LES, and that thing before and after Gutenberg. It's not like originally before and after Gutenberg. That thing that happened since 2015. That's not now. Like, no, it wasn't like mad to say, okay, everybody will use like React now. No, those things like happen since JavaScript became ECMAScript 6 or / ECMAScript 2015. So if you are living outside the bubble, you are seeing that. But yeah, it's really annoying. It's really hard to get the whole things, like to work with front end now. It's like every week it's a new framework appears. That is hard, but if you have a kind of learning path, you can handle that. You should be smart in a way that what I need for my work and my day, and what I need to be employable. That's my base step. I need to do what I need to do during my day, and also keep like employable, because if something happened, okay, I still be able to work in the market. And that was a spoiler, okay? 2015, this guy just came to a station at WordCamp US and told, learn deeply JavaScript. That wasn't last year, it was like 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago, and he just told that. And everything behind the scenes were moving to what we have now. Again, like my learning path, always when there is something new, I have this learning path. It's like play a game. It's like a street fight. I need to know what are the rules. Like, oh, okay, I will get a plane. I will fly around the world, and I will fight with someone. And I'm not supposed to be green. I'm a Brazilian. I'm not green. Sorry about the guy that did street fight. Just for know, like, who plays Street Fighter? Who knows like that GIF before? Sometimes I use some reference, like those guys, like, what the heck is that? So that, if you know that GIF, like, who is that guy? I know your age. You are in the same stage. Perfect. But the rules first. We have a bunch of new stuff like that appears now. We have those libraries. The first is WP element. WP element basically is React with a WordPress cape. They got React behind the scenes, and they made this interface over React to be able to communicate, like they do the communication between React and WordPress, and they have the control as well. And I think also that is the nicest thing, because they abstracted React. And if you have your application running with the whole functions using WP element, and one stage they just decide to change, okay, we are not using React anymore, we are going to use Vue. They just change that. And your application supposed to won't break, because you are using the same interface to communicate with WordPress. And also they keep the stable version, so they can control that. The WP editor is the rich editor that we can edit things inside Gutenberg. So there are bunch of functionality. Like we can create a block, create an editor, and now I was looking the last week, they create like a component to define the feature image, for example. We can just call one function, just one tag, and we will have the possibility to add a feature image. And after that, we have WP data, WP components. We have some internationalization and also libraries for accessibility as well. So those whole things are inside the documentation, the handbook. We have a handbook for that. And the GitHub, we have examples, and we have the whole discussion about Gutenberg. Okay, and now everything is blocks, 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 blocks. Everybody say, oh, Gutenberg is blocks, blocks. But basically, we will have three types of blocks. We have static, editable, and dynamic. This is really important for you to understand if you want to work with Gutenberg, because basically Gutenberg, they just look inside your WP content, the same table that we have our content since WordPress 2. We are using the same table. And the difference for Gutenberg, they just write HTML comments, and those comments, they rewrite for blocks. It's really weird, but that was the process to don't break the platform. You can use an old class editor and move to Gutenberg, and nothing will change, nothing will break. If you don't like Gutenberg, you can go back to the classic editor, and also nothing will change. The content will be there, okay? You won't lose the content. And dynamic blocks, we're gonna do some integration between React and PHP, because when we save a block, we save static HTML. So we need PHP to read those information dynamically. And we can see that, yeah, well, I think we have like a bunch of reusable components. So those are some examples that we can use. Like I can create like an alert. I can send a success message. We can create like some color palette for our block. So those components are available. You just call one tag and pass them the properties that they need, and we're gonna have that component inside your editor. Okay, it's for the editor. So, and basic steps. Now, basic steps are I use for everything. So my basic steps was like start with the easiest way. Okay, get your console, put like easy mode, play a little bit and see how the things work, and after go for like a more advanced level. And for me, I used the ECMAScript 5 because ECMAScript 5 I didn't need to think so much, because ECMAScript 5 is something that it's here like since the beginning for my career. Like I worked with like JavaScript, ECMAScript 5 since the beginning, so I didn't need think so much about that. I just focus on Gutenberg, how the main functions work. And after I use something to abstract the whole complexity behind, there is a create gluten block. So that will abstract many things inside the block development. In the end, I just finish with tuning. Like, okay, now that I know how the things work, I will try to optimize a bit that. So Node, just for you know, like front-end developers here, just like raise your hands, please. Okay. Perfect. So half. Back-end developers. Cool. So, and to install that, we need a Node package. Okay. With that Node package, we will install first create Guten block, and we will have this package in our project. And after we create just a new block with npm create Guten block, they will bring to us a bunch of files. And for after that, we just run with npm start. So it's really abstract. Like we will have a basic block there, and there is only one place that you change that block. In that way, you just need to think about, well, what I need to change. I will go to the file that is responsible to show my block, and I just go there and change it. And after, I started tooling, like who works with Webpack, I have this feeling. I always when I do some change with Webpack, I'm changing the engine of my car. Like I do some optimization, and tooling is like that. It is quite complex to do, but it is nice. Like you can do like complex things and also simple things with Webpack. Okay, and sometimes my feeling due tooling, it's like that. Like sometimes I just hate it, and I had this problem with Gutenberg. It is not so easy to like change. We can use like Webpack 4, but if you use a specific package, the things will work like differently. The way that I have done, I just, okay, that's the path, that's the configuration that works. I will keep it work like that, and after that I will try to change. And now I just like, okay, I will install Webpack 4 now. What's happened? And boom. And sometimes the things were fine, sometimes wasn't fine. But for you just get idea, here we have one package JSON for creating Gutenberg, and here's a part of my tooling. So create Gutenberg abstract many things, but with that tooling, we can create, for example, I can create like a different module for my front end and a different module for my back end. So I can create like different configurations, how I will display my block and how I will read my block. We can do like doing tooling. So let's get real. Let's talk about like real project. When I moved to Ireland, they were already doing that. They have this theme that they use ACF. And they mix like theme with like ACF, and they do the rows like, and basically the process, the projects are quite the same. So because we are a small team, we were like, the beginning was we were like 6, and after we moved to a team for like 7 people, and we do like a lot of like reusable components. We need to be like faster to deliver like many projects. So we create that structure, and that was before Gutenberg, and we use template page, ACF. We have some tooling. For example, the colors are properties inside SAS, and we mix it like SAS as well with like site properties. So we rewrite the SAS file, use the site properties, and we change the colors for the theme. But there are like a few problems there because the image is not okay. Here, it is a ACF. The problem that happened here was we have the visual responsibility mixed with the functional part of the theme. What's happened there? When I use the theme, I will install a post type. If I remove the theme, I don't want to work with like, I don't want to work with that company. I work with that company now. If I remove the theme for that company, I will lose my products or my service because the whole functionality are inside the theme. So the best scenario here, we separate this scheme. So we have the visual part that is responsible to tell you like how we're going to show that information, and the functional part, what we will show. So here we have the functional part, and when I left the company, I met my old workmates, and I just asked them, look, how are the projects? Like, you moved to Gutenberg, you want to move that theme to Gutenberg? And they're, oh, we are so busy. And I was like, okay, I can help. I will create like a proof of concept, and I will just show you how to do it. And those examples, I just think about what we have before, and I just try to replicate with Gutenberg. And that's what I want to do. Like, I want to remove the whole functional part from that old theme and create like a Gutenberg block. Why? Because in the future, if they want to change how this website is displaying, like they don't need replace the whole thing. Like, they can keep the functionality and they just change the style for that website. Is it clear? It's fine? It's fine until now? I have this weird accent. It's a mix between Irish, Brazilian, Portuguese, and and check. I have my check, right? And so let's block it. Okay, and let's code. I made this special GIF for something. I love that. After you can see there is a lovely image here. I don't know that guy. That was in Edinburgh. Okay. The screen is a bit small. Let's see what you use. So the time's fine. How much? I have 10 minutes. So let's see. Here there are dozens of things. No, I don't want to say them. Sorry. So the first part, let's see our package. The package JSON is kind of like contract that what we want to install in that project. So we go to Node, we go to the cloud and download this whole bunch of files. And basically, I have my whole dev dependencies that I was like trying to use, for example, Post CSS and and Webpack 4, but some guys here, I had some conflicts because we have some nice stuff as well. We have this package that is Babel plugin MakePot. What this guy do? We have like internationalization, a function just to do internationalization inside JavaScript. That wasn't possible before. Before you use like PHP and JavaScript to do internationalization. And now I can do internationalization inside my block, and I can use that guy to create my pot file. The file that is responsible to translate my website. That plugin just read my whole project and get the whole strings and save in a language file. So I have one language file here that contains the whole text from my, that's fine, here. And that file is created like automatically. I don't need to write that file. And that is possible with the package JSON. We have some preset for WordPress. So we transpiling like Babel, you know, like it's fine, but who use Babel? Okay, good. So the transpiling, let's do a quick description. Transpiling, we have like ECMAScript 6 or 2015. That JavaScript we can't run inside a Chrome. Sorry, not Chrome. Chrome runs with fine Internet Explorer. Our friend, Internet Explorer. This pretty face, as you can see now, I start code for Internet Explorer 5.5. If you think that Internet Explorer 11 is bad, imagine it, Internet Explorer 5.5. So, and the Babel, what Babel does, he just looking for modern JavaScript and converting a JavaScript that's readable for old browsers, okay? And with that preset, we will tell like to Babel, look, that code that you are creating, also I need some specific things to work with WordPress. So it's a kind of compiler for JavaScript for WordPress. There is some configuration that will help us. We have a lint for JavaScript, like the code style for WordPress we can use inside our plugin as well. And auto prefixer, the Babel core, Babel S-lint. Let's say something. No, not here we have. And the rest of the project, there is another important thing here. It is my Webpack config file. Check. Here we have some external. So what I'm saying here, we have the appendices that are installed in our project, but with Webpack I can tell inside my project, say, look, that WP, always when someone here look for WP, that guy external, that came from outside. I guarantee, I'm saying to the Webpack, don't worry about that guy, because when the user go to the browser, that information will be there. So that WP, it's a class that are inside our browser. If we run our application and type inside the console WP, we're gonna access there. It's global, okay? And the React as well. The React will came from WordPress. So always when someone call React, no worry about that. This is inside the WordPress. And jQuery as well. We load jQuery from WordPress. And that's just for example that I'm gonna show you. So the first step. The first step is just static content. That is the JavaScript for my blog. And we have some important points here. The first, I'm registering that blog. So that's the name inside WordPress. When someone talk about that guy, that's the ID for my blog. The information that I will use, the title, icon, category, some keywords. When I search for a blog, when the user type those information, they will find that blog. And we have two basic functions. Edit, that is the content that we're gonna show inside the editor. And save, that is the information that we will send to the user. Perfect? So that's a basic one. We have like an Instagram blog, and when we run on our like front end, we just show that content. And you will ask me, oh, if we want to change that formation, how we will do that? The second block, I use some components here now. So text control, panel body, those guys are from Gutenberg. I just reused them. And here I create one attribute, and that attribute is the Instagram user. So Gutenberg knows now if someone talk about Instagram user, they know that that's an attribute inside my block. And here. So when I am inside my editor, this is like JSX. Okay, JSX, it's a mix between HTML and JavaScript. When we run that code, the Babel will compile for normal JavaScript. This is React, like basically React. When you code React, we use JSX, but you can't just ignore them. Like if you are like, okay, I just want to use the documentation are there, use that tag, and you will have that component. And other important thing, it is some elements need on-change property, because we need to keep the state. So if something change, I need to rewrite in that. That's a technique inside React that it's controlled components. We need to keep the state between the view, okay? And in the end, we just show the block, the same thing. I just got the properties that are inside the attributes, and I just break here again. Here, just deconstruct this source so hard. I just destroy my object and from that attribute and that one. And here, I just like put them together. So basically, what we have here for that first part. This is a static one, and that one is the with attribute. The difference between like attributes in a dynamic block, when we save that formation will be static on my database. And if we change, what that means? If I change here that markup, the Gutenberg will ignore the previous information. Say, why so weird? Like you save there, but if you change that markup, the Gutenberg won't see anymore. Yes, because they look for the comment and the content, and when they check that, they say, okay, that block, it is the Instagram block. When I change that information, because we are like use comments in HTML, it is not dynamic, it is a static information, we just miss that. Okay, that's really important and really annoying when we start like developing blocks, because I was doing those examples and I forgot the title. When I change the title, change the whole markup, and you just ignore that block, I need to remove the old blocks and suck. We can try to do that now. So that's happened already. The block is there, we are showing that, but I change the content. When I go to the editor, they just know that information is not that information that we have. So I need to resolve that. I have two options. Or I keep the keying, or I change to HTML, or erase the item again. Try to find other blocks. Come on.
May I ask?
Yeah, please.
What is the default behavior?
What?
If you don't resolve the conflict in the editor, what is the default behavior?
So we still showing, as you can see, we're still showing on the front end. It's fine because the style are there, but the editor doesn't recognize as a block, recognize as a static HTML. You know. So I include here like now it's the same block. Now they recognize and say, okay, we are talking about the same guy. Perfect. But the old block's still here. The content is still there. If you go to the front end, it's still there. The problem, if you want to edit that information, we need to rewrite that information. So, and inside the old theme that I was showing, we have, for example, a testimonial that use a slick slider. Oh, okay. I have this slick slider on my application, and I want to use Gutenberg for fill the information inside that markup. I just use the same markup for that information and just load the script together. It is fine. Like I erase the information are there, and I still use the same functionality. But when I register my block, now I have two files. I have one for index that is responsible to show the content in the editor, and another file for the front end that is responsible to do the slider on my front end. And basically, I can have like jQuery here. So we can do the same thing. We can have like a block in my editor that use React, WP Elements, and Gutenberg. And on our front end, could be anything. Could be like Vue, could be jQuery, could be Angular. Okay, it's open. Like what do you do on the front end? It's open. And for that case, I just include the styles for Slick Slider on my plugin configuration. Let's see, I have the init here. here just include the script. Just tell to the WordPress, please, I will need this like slider. And we will clear here. And we can reuse on our front end. This is the same behavior for jQuery. If I want to use React, we can use as well. So with React, we can reuse also libraries. Here I'm using that component, it's like Instagram embed, and I just pass the properties for my component. And that component will show find it. For example, I can define some properties like, oh, the ID for that my image will be there. That I define as a default, like, because I won't remember that code, I just set as a default value. And also we can define like, oh, each size you want that image. No title, okay. It's like that, right? That's right? No. Oh, closer. Yeah. Ah. Yeah. It's wrong. Oh. So, let's go. No, I'm gonna preview that. I don't have internet. Oh, dumb guy. So, supposed to show Emily here. Let's try here. I will turn on my hotspot. Come on, come on. So when I try to connect here, just let's finish here. So I show like those Instagram blogs. They are like editable content. If I want to show something dynamic, I want to read a post type and show that post type. Now that will I want the 3 last products from my application. For that, if I use Gutenberg to save the last 3, they will get that information, create a markup, and save in the database the static content. So if I want to every time get the last 3 products, we need to do a query for update that information. If I use the save function, if we use that save function, that will create like static HTML. And after like, oh, someone update the product and it is not changed on the block, that because we need PHP for that. And for do that, we keep our like save function like empty, and we use for example, we can rest like inside my plugin. I just rested that block, use like PHP. This is a PHP file now. I just rest that block, pass the ID for my block, and call the handler callback. So, and now I'm saying like every time when someone on the editor include that last products block, call that function PHP that will do a query and show the latest products or the latest like items from my database. Okay, so static, editable, and dynamic. In the front end, it's like, it's what you want. Like, it's nice to use the components that are like WP element to render that. As I use it here on the Insta feed, inside my Insta feed, for example, inside my Insta feed, I use to render that block WP element. I'm not using like React to render that component. I render using like WP element. Okay, we can do that as well. I couldn't like call React here and React DOM, but also I can use the function render inside WP element. Okay, so those examples are inside my GitHub, so we can like see with more time there. And also there are like a lot of things like change, like that's, for example, yesterday we got like the version 5.1. There are a lot of improvements, a lot of new components there. It's something that it is hard to get in the beginning, like how we gonna like use Gutenberg, but in the end we can like apply for a real project. It's real doable. And again, inside the front end it's open, like you can use what you want. So, after the beautiful coding time, so the things that I think I cover everything, but the Babel plugin for like internationalization, that it's available inside the NPM. If you do like npm at WordPress/Babel plugin, you will download that package. You also, the S-lint for like lint your code is available there. The preset for like Babel specifically for WordPress. And you can do like an end-to-end test as well. And that's the end. Obrigado, Diqui. That's right.
Máte na Filipa někdo nějaký dotazy? Koukám, že na slajdu nikdo nic nepsal.
Questions? Yeah.
How does Gutenberg work with REST API?
Sorry?
With REST API?
The REST API. Yeah, it's totally integrated with the REST API. For example, it's a good question. Inside my, I create that post type inside my plugin. Before I was like saying products, but I was like, okay, it's character now. But if I don't use that property showing REST, we won't get the Gutenberg because the Gutenberg runs over the REST API. Everything it is inside the REST API. So for me, now, for example, that before like the previous version for Gutenberg, if you want to use Gutenberg, you need to activate the REST API. But now for a normal post, that's already activated. But for if you want to use create a new post type, you need to activate the REST, showing REST, that new post type. So they are totally related. Like they are like JavaScript communicated with JavaScript under the hood.
Okay, so
yeah.
So when I do GET request to WordPress REST API,
yeah,
I already get the compiled HTML from the blocks.
No, the information that we show, it is defined for, if you look inside the Gutenberg, the whole components are defined on the edit function. So that function is responsible to show how we're gonna show that. Yeah, yeah. And the save is how to show, but the REST API just have the information. For example, if you wanna create a block and show the feature image, the feature image is not something that it is directly defined on the REST API. You need to get the ID for the image and do a new request and get the feature image. Yeah. So, and for that communication to fetch data, there is one guy that is WP API, that WP.API fetch, and they do the communication directly with the REST API. Okay. Question? All right. Okay.
Will you stay here for some moments?
Hmm?
Will you stay here? No?
Yeah, I will stay here. If you want to talk with me, I will be here like
All the time.
all the time. And the after party as well. I can try the whole checkpiece. I love checkpiece. Pivo. Pivo?
Yeah.
Like Pivo. That's
Okay.
Thank you.